Hello, this is Scott Taylor, and I am going to make a video here with all the mistakes that have happened to me while I've been RVing. I've now been 4 years on the road, traveled 110,000 miles and gone through 41 states and 2 different travel trailers. And along the way I've had a lot of headaches and issues along the way. The first week I had my trailer, I was pulling it into my sister's house and took a corner or two quickly and clipped the awning, and that ended up taking the RV place about a month to fix, and it cost me $1,000. RV support, a lot of these places they've sold so much that it can take you weeks to months to get something fixed if it gets broken. So just be aware of that if you're looking to get into the RV lifestyle. Shortly after that, I got the trailer in late July, August, and then when I was driving down to Galveston, Texas in November of 2016, I got to a Mount Enterprise, Texas, and hadn't rained for several weeks. This was kind of a cobblestone road where this was at, and I hit the brakes and just skidded. It never stopped, and so I hit the car in front of me. We pulled off to the side of the road. Within the next half hour, we saw one more accident, and almost a third, on this intersection because the road was just that slick. So anyhow, the driver's side mirror was broken. I had some damage on the front end, but I was able to go ahead and drive my trailer the rest of the way. I got through Houston in the dark. That wasn't originally on the plan, and I got to my spot at Delanara in Galveston, and just took me forever to get backed into it, and the wind coming off the seashore just was rattling the trailer. I was very shook up, but got parked and eventually got the mirror fixed and everything was okay. But that's one of the things that when you're pulling a trailer down the highway, it's a lot more stressful than just having a house. My next big faux pas was as I was driving from Salem, Massachusetts down to New Jersey, Pennsylvania, or Philadelphia area, and it was supposed to take 3 hours. Actually, I was in Connecticut. It was supposed to take 3 hours, and my GPS gave me directions to put me on a New York thruway. And so as soon as I took the exit, this started getting flashing lights that I was over height. And I called the number. I pulled off the side of the road, called the number. They said, okay, you should be fine to go down to the next exit and get off there. And so I tried to pull on to the thruway to go through, and the cars on the thruway wouldn't let me on. And so they forced me to turn back the opposite direction, which took me to the George Washington Bridge. And it took an hour to go 3 miles. And I wasn't really planning on pulling my trailer over the George Washington Bridge, but that's what I ended up doing. And the whole trip ended up taking 7 hours instead of what was supposed to be 3 hours. And then once I finally got past the George Washington Bridge, I decided this truck stop I wanted to pull off, try and get just chill, relax, go to the bathroom. and ended up making a wrong turn and was headed towards a parking area, and the security in the parking area came and cut me off, wouldn't let me go in there to turn around. And so I had to back the trailer up onto a off-ramp for the highway. Fortunately, I had some guy who had just gotten off the subway and was kind enough to help me back up. And so that was just kind of a disaster. So, and there was one other time earlier that I'd made a wrong turn into a convenient, or into a fast food restaurant parking lot, and had to spend a half hour jockeying the trailer around to get back going the direction that I wanted to be going. And so that was the early deals. Just recently, a couple months ago, here in 2020, I had driven to Trinidad Lake State Park in Colorado, and it has a whole bunch of series of one-way roads. And I tried to back into my spot, and someone had come up behind me and was too close, so I couldn't see him. I couldn't back into the spot. And so I pulled around and thought I was going back to the where I was going to take another shot at it. But what ended up happening was I ended up turning the wrong way down a one-way, going past another trailer, and another big incident of where just having to back up. So, those things just kind of add up over a while. Then, as I say, new travel trailers aren't built as well as you would think. You're going down the highway, so it's kind of an earthquake every day when you pull. But my first trailer had all sorts of issues. I had the roof blow off the top of it. I had the chloroplast underneath. All that blew off once. The black water valve got stuck open. I had wheel covering blow off. And then there was the night that, I don't know how, but somehow I left the water running in the bathroom. And so it overflowed, and it drained down to the motor, to the bed, to the slide on the bed. And so as I was asleep at night, all of a sudden the slide starts coming in. I'm thinking I'm in an earthquake, because here it is moving while I'm asleep, and I can't get it to stop. And anyhow, it broke one of the doors, and eventually got everything fixed. But that first trailer, in 18 months, it was in the shop for 3 months. And after the roof blew off, I decided, okay, that's it. Done. Traded it in on my Grand Design that I have now, 315 RLTS. And so far I've only really had 2 issues with that. The first was both the stabilizer jacks motors burned out, and so I took it back to the dealership, and they were able to replace that within 24 hours. Now, I think they dropped the tongue, so I had to go back and have the tongue motor replaced as well. But overall, it was just a day there. And then, as I was coming out here to Colorado this time, as I turned onto 6th Avenue from I-25 coming up here, I noticed the slide pulled out about a foot. Here's a picture of that. There we go. So yeah, see where the slide pulled out here? And what had happened was the weld that attached the slide to the mechanism underneath had broken. And fortunately, I was just 4 miles from Windish RV, which is the Grand Design shop in Denver, and they were able to take it in and got it back to me in a couple of days and got it fixed. Just a tremendous job. Mike there did fantastic thing for me, and just got me back on the road. So, in now over 2 years, I have, the Grand Design's only been in the shop for like 3 days. So, and in living in a RV, you have to make plans 6 months to a year in advance if there's somewhere specific that you want to go, because with baby boomers retiring and the lots of more people are deciding that they can work remotely and live in an RV lifestyle, as well as the current health environment, all those make that there's not enough campgrounds and there's not enough places for people to park, so it's hard to get out there. And then the final thing that I'll talk about is that it can be lonely traveling by yourself. I've been doing this for 4 years, and the number of times that I've met people and stayed in contact with them haven't been very often. Fortunately, I had some people from Texas come out and visit me here, and overall, as I say, it's good, but it can be a little bit lonesome. I'm looking at ways to alleviate that. A lot of times escapers, there's other RV groups that you can go and camp together, but given the current health environment, those are kind of all being canceled. All the rallies are being canceled, so you don't have many options there. So anyhow, that's all that I wanted to say as far as mistakes that I've made, and a little bit of insight into what the RV life is about. I've been doing that for 4 years, but I've been traveling for 30 years, so I have other stories to tell as far as airplanes and so forth. But if you like what I have, then please subscribe and like my channel, and we'll go back here and go through a few earlier pictures. So this is where they were backing my Grand Design into a spot in Boyd's RV Park in Key West, and some RV spots can be kind of tight to get into. So not all RV parks are the same. Do your research and find out the goods and bads of what people have said. There's a picture of my truck with the trailer attached in front of Buc-ee's. Best restrooms in Texas. Here's a picture of where the roof blew off, and I taped it down and finally got it back to Oklahoma to be fixed. Then when I was up here in Central City, one time I got up here in May, went to bed and woke up to 17 inches of snow. And so a lot of trailers, even my Grand Design, even though it says that it's a 4-season RV, I still don't want to take it below freezing. I've taken it a couple of days down to 20 degrees, and the hot water tank will freeze up on me. So try and keep it above freezing. And then here's a picture of my truck in the first RV that I was traveling in. So thank you again for your time, and have a great day.